Can a single token rival Binance Coin and climb from just cents to $5 or even beyond? Crowcoin CRO, the native token of Crypto.com Cronos chain, is once again in the spotlight. After a dramatic 95% crash from its highs, fresh partnerships, U.S. market access, and bold predictions are fueling speculation that this battered coin could stage one of the most explosive comebacks in crypto history. But is a $5 CRO realistic? Or just another fantasy in a market built on hype and volatility? Welcome to AI Crypto Pulse, your daily dose of crypto updates, AI-driven insights, and market trends. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest in crypto and blockchain technology. The cryptocurrency market has always been a playground for bold predictions, dramatic rises, and equally painful collapses. Among the digital assets drawing both excitement and skepticism today is Crowcoin CRO, the native token of the Cronos chain and the flagship token of Crypto.com. In recent weeks, CRO has once again captured the spotlight, not only for its price movements, but also for renewed speculation about its long-term potential. Just days ago, market analysts noted that CRO could slide back below the 20-cent mark, a scenario that materialized without much surprise. Despite some pockets of strength in certain cryptocurrencies, overall trading conditions remain flat, offering little momentum to sustain a broader rally. Still, optimism continues to swirl around Crowcoin, particularly after a series of headline-grabbing news events that have fueled speculation about the token's trajectory. At the center of much of the speculation is a tantalizing question. Can Crowcoin ever reach $5 per token? Some market watchers have pointed to intermediate price targets such as 361 cents, while others have dared to dream of astronomical numbers, even entertaining hypothetical valuations as high as $361. But how does one even arrive at such lofty figures? The reasoning is relatively straightforward. If CRO were to achieve a market capitalization comparable to that of Binance Coin (BNB), the utility token of the Binance ecosystem, then mathematically, a price of several $100s would be possible. The real debate, however, lies in whether CRO can realistically grow to Binance's scale in terms of adoption, utility, and developer activity. Both CRO and BNB serve as utility tokens tied to the blockchains of their parent exchanges, Binance Smart Chain (BSC) and Cronos, respectively. However, the two tokens have vastly different histories. BNB launched during a period of significant excitement, long before Cronos entered the scene. Binance was able to capitalize on the DeFi summer of 2020 and 2021, attracting a surge of developers and users who experimented with decentralized finance applications on its chain. The token's meteoric rise during the bull market cemented its position as one of the top assets in the crypto space. By contrast, the Cronos chain debuted much later, at what could only be described as the worst possible timing. Launching in late 2021, near the absolute peak of Bitcoin's run to $67,000, Cronos had little room to flourish before the market's brutal downturn. As Bitcoin fell by nearly 75%, Crowcoin fared even worse, plunging around 95% from its highs. In other words, the project never had a true chance to showcase its potential during a healthy bull cycle. Despite these setbacks, many investors remain hopeful about CRO long-term prospects. The optimism stems largely from the idea that utility and adoption could finally align for the Cronos ecosystem in the next cycle. If Cronos can attract more developers, applications, and use cases, it could mirror, or even surpass, the early momentum that Binance enjoyed. More importantly, supporters argue that the U.S. market could play a pivotal role in CRO future. Unlike Binance, which continues to face regulatory roadblocks in the United States, Crypto.com has managed to establish a presence within U.S. borders. With the United States government expressing interest in positioning itself as a global hub for cryptocurrency innovation, the presence of an exchange like Crypto.com could provide CRO with a unique advantage. Some analysts even suggest that in time, Crypto.com could flip Binance in terms of market share, particularly within the U.S. For Crowcoin to hit $5, the math is daunting, but not impossible. CRO currently sits near an $8 billion market cap. A price of $5 would require the token's valuation to expand nearly 13 times higher, pushing it toward $121 billion. In context, such a market cap would place CRO in direct competition with some of the largest players in the industry. To put it in perspective, Dogecoin reached an $88 billion market cap during the 2021 cycle, fueled largely by hype and retail speculation. For CRO to surpass that level, it would need not only speculation but also sustained adoption, partnerships, and inflows of institutional capital. Adding fuel to the fire is a high-profile partnership between Crypto.com and the President's Media Group. Reports suggest that up to $5 billion worth of US dollars could potentially be funneled into CRO as part of this collaboration. If realized, such an injection would immediately CRO market capitalization from $8 billion to around $13 to $14 billion. While that would still be far from the $121 billion target, the psychological impact of such a move could trigger speculation-driven rallies, as seen in past crypto cycles. It is worth noting, however, that no guarantees exist. Even if the full $5 billion materializes, it would still represent only a fraction of what's needed to propel CRO into the $5 range. Nevertheless, the association with political and corporate entities provides a narrative catalyst, a critical driver in speculative markets like crypto. While the bullish case is compelling, the risks are equally clear. Cryptocurrency markets remain deeply cyclical, with bear phases often wiping out 70 to 95% of asset values. Should Bitcoin enter another prolonged downturn, a possibility as early as late 2025 or 2026, CRO would almost certainly face renewed pressure. Even optimists admit that if a bear market takes hold, expectations of a $5 CRO would need to be delayed until the next cycle at minimum. While Bitcoin may not fall by 75% again and CRO may not collapse by 95% as it once did, any significant downturn would still crush short-term hopes of astronomical price targets. For now, much of CRO movement is fueled less by fundamentals and more by speculation and excitement. When news about partnerships or political involvement breaks, the market tends to react sharply. The recent rally, for instance, was not entirely the result of new capital inflows, but rather the anticipation of them. This dynamic highlights a key reality in crypto markets. Perception often matters as much as reality. Traders may continue to ride the volatility, profiting whether CRO reaches $1, $2, or beyond, as long as liquidity remains. So, when can we realistically expect a $5 Crowcoin? The short answer is not yet. While the token has strong tailwinds, including partnerships, U.S. market access, and potential political influence, the path to $5 requires a confluence of favorable factors: a roaring bull market, institutional adoption, and continued developer engagement with the Cronos ecosystem. A more conservative target of $2 to $3.61 by 2025 may be more achievable, aligning with a market cap between $70 and $80 billion. That would still represent an extraordinary return compared to current levels. Ultimately, Crowcoin's future will be decided not only by the market's appetite for speculation, but also by whether the Cronos chain can deliver real-world utility that sustains long-term demand. Until then, investors and traders will continue to ride the volatility, watching closely to see if CRO can transform from a speculative play into a true blue-chip asset. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the latest crypto news and insights.